Now we're going to look at an HMI for this exercise, simulation exercise number 2 for the valve. And then there is a pre-made HMI to make a video going through all this, doing all the steps. Then it's going to be a long video. But this is also going to be a long video. And if you want to learn how to make an HMI, you have to do it by yourself. You have to do all those mistakes and all this trouble. So this is just going to be a guide to see how to make an HMI, for instance, for a valve controller on a panel. If you looked at a SCADA system, let's say a more a bigger type of HMI system, if you want to say a more capable type of HMI system, there would be pop-ups and stuff like that. You can do this with these schematic panels too, but just for the illustration of it, how to make an HMI with animation, visibility, and change of color and symbols and shapes and stuff, it's sufficient to do it this way. The way it's done here. Okay, let's see. Let's get started a little here. I can probably sit here. So these are the HMI data that we want to visualize or animate in some way. We want to set these bits to make something happen in the PLC and so on. So here is the HMI that's pre-made with a little in here, and also here the valve control, which is on a screen here, this screen. The first thing we have to do is to have a connection between the PLC and the HMI panel. And here is with Ethernet, and here's the station, the PLC, and here is the panel. It's a comfort panel, the old type of panel. Now the new ones, they are HTML5 based or web technology based panels. And here is a connection between them, and it's online. So they can communicate. There's the same access point that you use when you or TI portal used to access the PLC. Those are the connections. And what more? What we need is tags. These objects that they are called tags here. And let's say I have already put in the tags, and I left them at 1 second so I can find them here for this HMI. And how you do it is better. You can split the screen here using this button, and then you can drag this one from here over here if I can find it. It wouldn't do it. I'd have to have a free location down here. Let's see if I can do it now. Then it's accepted. I already have it. And what you have to do in your function block program is to make those accessible in the data block from HMI and OPC UA. A normal HMI system would not be a part of the project, but would be external communicating with your PLC using OPC UA. And you also say which one are writable. Of course, it's just commands. These are just read only. And then they are also visible in the HMI engineering tools. But that's preset in the function block, and just drag them over. Okay, so then we have this information that we want to animate. And now we are going to open this valve simulation picture, and here is the animation already pre-made, and I'm going to make some room here. And now we're going to look at some of these elements here. This is just a text. If you want to make, this is just a line white. If I can, this is just a line, and look at the properties here. Here. If I can. It's a group. But within the group, you can edit the group. There's just a black line and a white line, and then you get 3D effects. Usually we don't use 3D effects. It should be flat. But here is just to show what it is. So this is just a text, and you can find a text there. You can drag it in. Could be possible to drag it in. here a text. I'm not going to do it. And here are also text too. These texts, this text is animated a little. So we look at animation. So what is the animation? I can add new animation, but here I've selected appearance. And if on a low feedback in your instance data block, which means that the valve is, the feedback for the valve is low, which means that the valve is closed. Closed for a valve is low. High is open, active. It is doing something. Closed valve is not doing anything, but open valve is letting something through. Yeah. Okay. So what we say on the feedback, the foreground color, which is the text color, should change. And in the runtime video later, we'll show you will see that it's changed in color. Then we have the commands. So that's a button. It says here what you have, and the button is down here. This is what it looks when if I put it in. I'm not going to put it in. But a button has properties. Button general. It can be either text, which is default, or it can be graphic. I've selected graphic, and what kind of graphic do you want? Yeah, I have selected this graphic, and here is from a graphic in the project. And where's the graphic in the project? It's wisely put under resources, and here are the graphics. I don't know, was it the close one I looked at? That's this graphic. And here we can make new graphic, and these are PNG. So those are transparent. This area had the bell here, or let's say the square here, is transparent. So if I put something back here, that's going to show through this button. So that's the graphic I selected, and here is the graphic, and you have to import it here. Open new graphic. Let's column here. Yeah. It is possible to open to get new graphic in here in the project. I've already put them in here. Look at the help file and find out how you get graphic into your program. Okay, so that was not the part of it, but that's the graphic I've selected. So that's just a single picture. And then I want to animate on this one. So when it's in automatic mode, I want it to fill it with a green color. So if I move this one away, here it's just as rectangle. I could pick it here. It says rectangle here. And appearance is what it is, and so on, and that's the way it looks. But the animation is important. Appearance. You can even move objects around here. The background color, the foreground color is not here because it doesn't have a text, but background color changes to this one when it is in automatic mode. And this, let's say, circular with an arrow on, is just a symbol for automatic mode. Now I use the Control-C, undo. This one is made the same way, and this button is made the same way too. There's something in behind here that's changing color. And this one is special, which is, let's say, what it is. It has a visibility. It means this is visible when it's confirmed low. And from 1 to 1 true, this is just a binary 1, and true is 1. So if I set 0 here, it would be visible when the binary was 0, inverted. And here's another one of those. And in visibility, you can use for text too. So this is just a text. Look at the properties. It's a text field, and it's blue, and it has some, let's say, text format, font you can set, and so on. But what's important here is animation. It's the visibility. So if safeguarding, which means it's forced to either the high or low states, then this one shows. It's kind of important for an operator to know if it's forced, because there's no point in clicking on any of these commands here. And you have one for disable too. And here too is, this one is special. Behind here, there is a rectangle 2 with color animation. See here, there are more animation, even with flashing. So when it's in transit from high to low, or vice versa, it's flashing with these colors. It's alternating with these colors, between these colors. I do a Control-C again and get it back. Okay. But this one in itself is a little important. There's a graphic I/O field. And here you have a symbolic I/O field. There's a graphic. Here is switch. If we get a tooltip. Come on, come on. Don't click it. Yeah, you Q past this stuff. But you can find it over here and drag it in. So it's a graphic I/O field. So escape. We want to look at this one in properties. And here it has something called a graphic list. I use prefixes GL graphic list for valve. So if we look at it, these are the symbols that's in here. We looked at in the graphic, the project graphic down here. So, and I can edit these lists too. I'm going to look at it because we have also another type that's called text list. But dependent on this, which is connected to the state of the state machine, it changes the graphic. That's kind of nice animation. And the background color does the same on the states. So that's kind of vital, the state of your program. Okay, so that one was that one. Now we have a final element here too, which is a symbolic I/O field, a general, and that's not graphic, but it's symbolic, and it uses a text list. This again, it's this. Let's see if we can. This text list has these numbers 0 to 4, which is again the state. So it's undefined as initial state. It's closed, opening, open, and closing, and so on. If you want a new one, well, I can't do it here. So where are these lists hidden? So the graphic list and so on, let's say text and graphic lists. If we click on those, there was the text lists. And the one I wanted was the states, was it? Yeah, so we want a new one. I can add a new one, 5 fault, for instance, but then I have to change my program to show fault. No, let's see, text lists was those, and then we had the graphic list, didn't we? Yes, so if I want a fault state, I could add a new number 5, and I have a big F or something here, or something across on the valve or whatever I want to show that it is in a fault state. Normally, what we probably would do is just to set the background color to red to indicate that the valve is in a fault state. But you could have a symbol for that with a whatever you want to make this look like. Okay, so those were the graphic lists. Okay, now let's look a little more of these. You can do scripting here. That's VB scripting, so you can make program. Visual Basic functions here too. In the new panels, that would be JavaScripting, and so on. And you can do quite a bit. These panels, let's say these comfort panels, they're kind of capable, but they can't do a lot. But what you can do, the alarms here and the panels are not. Those, then you get list of exceptions or alarms that you have. They are not really especially good with semantics panel. And so recipes is where you have recipes for that you can load down to the PLC for mixing paint or whatever. So they are recipes. Historical data, the data that you store. Yeah, cycles you can define. That's for the tags, how often you want to have those. And also here, user administration, what the password and stuff, because yeah, and what a user can do to the panel, what capabilities they have, what they are allowed to do. And that's what you would do. But just making an ordinary panel is in a factory, which not everybody has access to, maybe it's enough. What you would do is you would make screens. Of course, you would have to configure your device and so on. And you would have to make screens. First, you would have to make tags. And here I've just called it global tags for the PLC 01. So if you have more PLCs, make a tag list for each of them. Make a little system out of this stuff that you have. And then you have to connect them. And then you have to make text and graphic lists. So of course, you have to make graphics here and import graphics, what you need. There is some graphics delivered with the panels that's completely useless. But so delete those. Yeah, text and graphic list and text and so on, and make animation. Now there is possible to make something called pop-ups here, and you would need to have a pop-up for commands. So if you push a button, you have to have something called double commands that say, okay, you have to confirm that you really want to do this or cancel. You need an option. It's just nothing should happen just by pushing on a panel. It is possible to make, but it's not as per se made for these panels, the double commands, which should be inherent for the panels, of course, the way of operation. So that should be, let's say, a notification pop-up or something to do a confirmation. This should be in here. But okay, that's what we looked at. So what we looked at here was, yeah, make tags first, or connection and stuff, and make tags, which means that we just imported the data, or let's say connected the data in our PLC to a HMI panel, so know where to write data and so on. And then we looked at some graphic lists and graphic and text lists and animation and visibility. Animation was where we could change color and stuff. For rectangles was we used, and so on. And then we made a mimic that kind of looked kind of okay as a first start. But if you want to make professional mimics, this is not good enough. And then you probably wouldn't want to use these HMI panels from Siemens anyways. You would use some SCADA software that would run on a PLC and using OPC UA to communicate with your PLCs. So these panels, you could use them for local operation. They're on a machine or something out in the field to do some small things. Maybe open a couple of valves like we did here too. Because it's really difficult to make proper HMI or SCADA functionality with these panels. Even the new panels are not that good for, especially good for this. But just as an HMI illustration, it's okay. Yeah, so we looked at some HMI stuff.